Vladimir Putin now headed for a fourth term as Russian president. Election officials reporting Putin won with 76% of the vote. This amid numerous reports of election fraud, surveillance video appearing to show blatant ballot stuffing. I want to bring in General Jack Keane, retired four-star general, chairman for the Institute Study of War, Fox News senior strategic analyst. He didn't have any fair competition. The point, General, in all of this is that Putin has job security in a significant way. Why is it so critical now with this election from over the weekend?
Well, right. I mean, the election's a farce, to be sure. It's a controlled election, and they put up some token opposition, and the only potential opposition he had, he made that person invalid, could not participate in the election, Navalny. What Putin is doing here clearly is he sees Russia as a world power. He's extraordinarily ambitious in pursuing that. He's become increasingly aggressive as a result of it. He's increasing his military capability quite a bit, and Russia's becoming considerably more dangerous. And I think this administration has correctly identified the era we are currently in strategically in the world as big power competition. Isn't it interesting that China and Russia are the big adversarial powers? Second to that would be Iran. And China and Russia have just recently put people in charge of those countries, dictators to be sure, global ambitions that they both have, expansionists, they're both expansionists, and they're going to stay in power likely indefinitely. So we got our hands full with Russia and with China.
There's a certain irony in that, isn't it? All coming within the same week, don't you think, General?
Yeah, absolutely. And the path ahead, clearly, the national security strategy identified by the Trump administration gets it right in terms of the confrontation we're going to have with these two countries. And now we've got to really put meat on the bones in terms of specific strategies dealing with them. But it will lead to some kind of confrontation, hopefully not conflict. But we've got to be willing to step up and push back on their aggression. Both China, certainly in the Western Pacific and the South China Sea and East China Sea, and also as they push globally, and Russia in Eastern Europe and also now in the Middle East.
What do you think would be his next target? You think this election, think about it, it took place on the 4-year anniversary of the annexation of Crimea. And you've got all this activity in Syria, so clearly Putin wants to get back into the Middle East and be a power player, and he is already. He's got his eyes on Korea, potential market there as well. I don't know if they're going to help us or hurt us through these negotiations, but you have 6 more years of rule in Russia. And if you go back to Mitt Romney's comment from 2012, your biggest geopolitical concern is Vladimir Putin in Russia. What are his next objectives, do you think, General?
I think they're clearly, and you can see it by the level of involvement that he has when he uses hybrid forces, information, political warfare. They're masters at it. We're talking about the Baltics and also the Balkans. These are the areas he's going to put considerably more pressure on. At the end of the day, Putin really wants to break NATO, the transatlantic alliance that has helped keep the international order stable throughout Europe for 70-plus years. He is after that, and he's going to use political information warfare to weaken this alliance. He believes that in the UK he's got a weak leader in Theresa May. He believes he's got a weak leader in Angela Merkel, and he has other weak leaders throughout Europe, and he can take advantage of them. The unknown to him clearly now is Mr. Trump, and he senses that Mr. Trump is going to be a no-nonsense president because he's seen him respond in Syria with the use of chemical weapons. He's seen him respond in Ukraine in a way that the previous administration would not do in providing lethal aid to the Ukrainians. Now we're stepping up with sanctions. I don't think these sanctions are adequate enough. So he understands that the United States is likely going to will be confronting him in the future. Okay. But I don't think that's going to disabuse him in the near term of his geopolitical objectives and regional domination.
You said a lot. General, thank you for your time. Jack Keane there in Washington. Thank you, sir.